morning. Wakey, wakey. Rise and shine. Wipe that sleep out of your eyes. It is the Monday morning cup of coffee. I'm your host, Tommy Womack, and I have my Kinks coffee cup here today. That's a gift from Nathan's girlfriend, Callie Adams. Thank you, Callie. I now have 2 Kinks t-shirts, a Kinks coffee cup, and a copy of every Kinks record ever made. I believe every one of them. All I need now is a Kinks hat. You know, a hat like this with the Kinks in a logo of some sort over the front of the hat. That might look cool, that might look terrible. I don't know. It's been a great couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks now. Celebrations of 3 great artists, one of whom is no longer with us. If we go back to Saturday, the 27th of January, it was Jeff Fest at the East Side Bowl. Jeff Johnson, founding bass player of Jason and the Nashville Scorchers, known to the rest of the world as Jason and the Scorchers, but I prefer the original name, Jason and the Nashville Scorchers. He had a stroke in September, and it's laid him up a bit, but he is fighting it. He is doing well. He was at the show, and it was a benefit for Jeff. And the bands from top to bottom, Jason and the Scorchers, the Royal Court of China reunion, and they rocked. Government Cheese, Ray Gunn, Raylan Nelson, Thunderhawk, Arrows Aloft, and the Black Key Tags. I think that was it. I think that was the 8 bands who played. It started at 4 in the afternoon and it went till about 11 that night. Had a great time. Very spiritual. It seemed like the whole old school Nashville rock and roll scene was there. I mean, everybody. And it's a real brotherhood and sisterhood of all those people. It's so great. I just can't believe I'm a part of it sometimes. I don't feel worthy sometimes that all these great musicians and great people were those of us who have survived, who are still here, able to enjoy each other's music and friendship. That was a beautiful time. Then Saturday night before this past one, I can't remember which date that was. It was the 3rd, February 3rd. That was the Kinks Fest at Dee's, and I sang the Village Green Preservation Society, and that was great, and hence my Kinks coffee cup today. Lady Couch was the backing band for that. They're a great band. A lot of people around here love Lady Couch, so that was fun. And then a week ago today, I was in New York City, and I sang at Scott Kempner's 70th birthday celebration, which is posthumous. We lost Scott, I believe it was in January. It might have been December. Scott, also known as Top 10, was a founding member of the Dictators and the Del Lords. And the Dictators and the Del Lords both played the memorial celebration for him. It was at the Bowery Electric on the Lower East Side. Sid Straw was there, Willie Nile, Scott McClatchy, Marshall Crenshaw, me, and I did one song. I was the only solo acoustic act of the night. There was about an hour of rock and roll before me. Then I did my one song, and I told a little story before I played it, and then there was another hour of rock and roll after me. Sarah Borges was there too, and a few other people whose names I'm blanking on. They weren't familiar to me, but they were all great. Everybody was great, and it was a really spiritual night too, a celebration for a really lovely man who lived rock and roll from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, and a great sweetheart of a guy. I feel really lucky to have known Top 10 of the Dictators. And it was all I could do a lot of the time to keep from geeking out when I was around him, because he's top fucking 10 of the Dictators. Anyway, so those were all great experiences. It was only the second time I believe I've ever been to New York City alone, and I didn't get. I'm still here. I survived. I spent all my time in the Lower East Side. That was the only place I ever went. I went to Little Italy and had a great Italian meal. I had another one in the Bowery. That thank you, Sharon Lutke. She bought me a lovely Italian lunch. So I had the Italian food that I wanted, and it was a great time. We're sad to have lost Scott, but it was a great celebration of his memory. We lost Mojo Nixon the other night. He was on the Outlaw Country Cruise. My son was on the cruise with the Raylan Nelson Band, and Mojo Nixon was just, he was a one-off. There was only one Mojo, and if you don't know about Mojo Nixon, just Google him and enjoy the ride. He was great. He was crazy. He was funny as hell, and he was a lovely guy. We were friends, and I'm really proud to say that. He was a really, really nice guy. There was the on-stage Mojo who was really crazy, and then there was the off-stage Mojo who was just a sweetheart, as much a sweetheart as any of the other fellows I paid tribute to. That's very sad. I did a version of his song "Tie My Pecker to My Leg," which you can find on my Facebook page, or it's also on the Instagram page, I believe. So, what's next? Friday, February 23rd, Tid Balls on Morris Alley in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I don't need to give you a number for Morris Alley. It's the only building on Morris Alley, I believe. Tommy Womack and the Ruins, that's the name of my band now. We're going to be up there, and it's going to be a wang dang doodle. We're playing at 8 o'clock, I believe. It might be 9, but get there at 8 and start drinking early. So that's February 23rd in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Tid Balls. And that's all I have time for. That's all I know to tell you. Don't let the bastards get you down. Don't be afraid to be the one who says I love you first. Rock and roll all night and party every day. God bless you. Keep your gums healthy. And I'll see you next Monday.